Hey, fellow fragrance friends and lovers, what is your scent of the day? What are you wearing down below? Let's talk about this fragrance here called Malt. I have to say that this is my least favorite fragrance from this house. I have to say that this fragrance is not for me. Let's talk about it. You might say, Ben, this fragrance has rum. This fragrance has leather. This fragrance has a lot that you like. Why don't you like it? Well, it has seaweed. And I actually like seaweed in some of my fragrances, especially my aquatics, and some people shy away. But this is like a alkaline, a sour, mineral, like iodine seaweed. And there's a lot of it. I actually don't like that out of this fragrance. It does go away and add that rebellious, maybe almost drug-like component to this fragrance. That Akro likes to have a rebellious facet to their fragrances. These are dark, like almost like mysterious fragrances, and I was expecting something boozy, something playful, rum, leather, and there's patchouli that's supposed to be fancy, but the patchouli is very sheer and musky, acting like some of these modern ambergris. I don't get a lot of the patchouli, which would have been nice to add some real richness to a playful boozy vibe. So I personally feel like the concentration of these notes are all wrong. The rum should have been the biggest note, and there should have been tons of it. There should have been lots and lots of patchouli, and the seaweed should have been definitely in the background, definitely. So I think I don't know if the perfumer intended. I don't know if there was something missed in translation, and the people bottling and putting this fragrance together messed up his concentrations. But I just don't like this fragrance, and it certainly is provocative because of this iodine, kind of like almost like this bleachy seaweed smell, this bleach and chemical. It's just not pleasant to me. I have to be honest, and I wanted to like it. I was expecting this fragrance to maybe be like Pure Malt by Mugler, but better, like an improved version with tons of performance, and maybe bring us back to the vintage versions of Pure Malt that used to be even boozier. Pure Malt has been reformulated, and it's kind of hard to find these days, and it's still great, but it's not the same as it used to be. I would have actually liked that from Akro if they almost brought back that fragrance and improved it. I wouldn't have beaten them up for that. I would have actually liked that. But this fragrance here is just too strange. And I think that most people are going to find this fragrance strange. The seaweed is unique and that is a different note. But, I mean, I think people have seen seaweed or maybe smelled seaweed out of fragrance. I mean, maybe I'm too deep into fragrances, but I've seen seaweed in aquatics and some other fragrances before, and to me, that's just not a rare or unusual note, and I still want something to surprise me in a unique kind of good way. I like to have at least one note in a fragrance that's nice and different, and rum, I guess, is a nice note, but there's not something to this one. Dark had the same problem, that I didn't feel like it had a unique note to make it stand out in a good little way. But Dark was a little bit more comforting. It didn't take enough risk, and this is the opposite. This one took way too much of a risk, and the concentration seemed off. So I'm not sure what's going on there, but this is a nice house. Don't get me wrong, that seaweed does die down, and that odd vibe does go away after 5 or 10 minutes, and you're left with a fragrance that's kind of like this futuristic, clean white suede. It's not malty to me. It doesn't remind me of what malt is. Not that everything has to smell like a malty milkshake, but it doesn't remind me or make me think of what malt is or what malt can do in any way, in any fragrance, or just, I guess that's the impression or my mind or what I expect out of a fragrance. That's my bias perhaps, but this fragrance to me just doesn't work. But somebody out there who likes, this fragrance isn't powdery, but maybe you like that aldehydic powdery vibe, but you still want something rebellious in a different way. This fragrance does not really smell like the notes. And I can see somebody who wants something clean but rebellious. This fragrance might do it for you. So surprisingly, Malt isn't your boozy fragrance. It's not your speakeasy fragrance. It's not your rich, leathery fragrance, or or creamy fragrance. Hey, it could have gone creamy. That would have worked. This fragrance somehow becomes your rebellious, maybe slightly strange, clean fragrance, and wasn't expecting that. Was not expecting that out of this fragrance at all. So, is it a good fragrance? Really depends on what you like. Again, it's not a bad creation, and I can see where the composition does work. I don't want to say it's a bad composition, but it's maybe the least pleasant for me out of the bunch. So, what's the performance like? Yeah, this one does perform decently. It's another 7-8 hour fragrance, maybe plus, depending on if you spray it up on clothes or a lot of sprays. This is definitely a full day's wear. Eau de Parfum, good concentration, no doubt about that with the performance. I would say projection and sillage are good. It stands out in an odd kind of way, so it's maybe almost seems like it performs better than good. But good for some people isn't enough, especially for a $160 fragrance. But it's where it needs to be. This will definitely get noticed and has a good presence about it. Compliment factor wise, this definitely has something about it. Some of the fragrances from Akro do this. This one definitely has a drug-like quality. And, some people say some things that are kind of funny or ridiculous, like heavy caps being a weapon because you can throw them, or fragrances that have a little bit of, the cannabis. They're like, don't be stopped by a cop. But this is one of those fragrances. I mean, you could say don't, even if you weren't doing anything, somebody might not trust you or believe you. This is not work safe because of that. This is not something I would wear around friends or family. I don't know, maybe I don't know your friends or family, but this is not something that to me is something that I think this is a rebellious bad fragrance. Again, kind of clean, that you would have to be around the right kind of people with the right attitude, and them to be able to appreciate that. Maybe y'all are in a crime syndicate. But anyways, for the mafia boss, when he wants to smell clean or something like that, it's got your name all over it. And don't be expecting the notes when you look at the notes. Do not be expecting what you see. That seaweed and what's going on here completely changes and takes this fragrance on for its own wild ride. And who knows what's going on here. So this fragrance for $160 for 100 mils is a fair price. The concentration, again, is Eau de Parfum. It's worth trying. It's worth it experiencing. And by golly, I mean, this is a nice house. I like this house. And this is their wild card. I was actually expecting this to be maybe their safest fragrance, Malt. But Akro, you surprised me. I thought this would be the safest fragrance, the easiest to wear. And, maybe the one I could recommend to everybody. This is your strangest fragrance that I would tell people to be very careful of. I guess it's fun that Akro, you kept me on my toes. Anyways, if you do want to experience this fragrance for yourself, it's a strange little thing. And if you do want to try it, there's a discovery set for like $25 odd. That's a nice price, and you can save 15% off. And again, the full-size bottles are only $160 for 100 ml. Fair prices, very well done fragrances, even though this is the strange one. And, you can save some money. I don't get any kickback for a sale or this review for reviewing this fragrance, so I hope that you enjoyed my content here today for free. But if you do want to support me and give a little bit of love back, like and all that good stuff, you know what to do. So I'll see you soon, everybody. Wear what you love and enjoy the world of fragrance. I'll see you soon. And I hope that you enjoyed my fragrance review today. I'll see you soon. Bye.